Hey yo, this is another episode of the Steven from the Old Time Podcast. Listen to my dad, he's awesome.
Welcome to a new episode of Steven from the All Time Podcast. And if you've been living under a rock, I am the Ayatollah of hip hop, the whole damn show, the rated R podcaster, the revolutionary, and the visionary. With my co-host, the future of podcasting,
the man with 1,000 hold. It's me, it's Milenko. You know, what's up?
What's up? And
hey, what's up? What's up, everyone? You recognize the voice is the greatest there is, the greatest there was, and the greatest there ever freaking will be. Derek Alltime.
And please do not forget to like and subscribe so you could tune in to the future of podcasting. Boys, how is everyone feeling this evening?
Not bad. Not bad. Yourself?
Feeling good.
I'm not bad. But Derek, why are you doing like that fucking Bane voice?
Oh, that's the Bane voice. No Bane voice here.
Wonderful. I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. Fresh off 2 WrestleMania episodes. Malenko, I just want to thank you for a full week of nonstop editing. You are a god, a genius, and the man of a thousand edits.
The man with 1,000 edits. Exactly. That's me.
We are here for another music review episode this evening. Boys, what have we been listening to?
Everything except rap. I've been listening to everything except rap. I don't know what's wrong with me, but a lot of salsa and cumbia. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I've been discovering all the old music that I used to listen to. My parents used to listen to in the household, so having fun with that. I run listening to salsa. How weird is that?
Really? Wait, hold on a second. You're running and you're listening to salsa music for real? How does that make you, like, it gives you energy? Does it make you, I don't know, like, I can't listen to anything but like hardcore metal or...
No, I when I first started, I was hardcore and metal, but then I don't need to be that grinded to run. I just need to concentrate on it. I think it's a rhythm thing more, but I just enjoy it. I just enjoy it with the sun out. You know, you listen to those. A lot of Frankie Luis. Copacabana doesn't exist anymore. La Salsa Tech.
You're gonna go?
I haven't been there. I went there like in the last 5 years, probably. But it was fun too. I have fun. But yeah, a lot of salsa, oldies. Always listen to old soul or gospel music. And that's pretty much a lot of McGee. I love McGee. 2 Stars and the Dream Police. I love that album. And I listened to it when it came out back then. I was it's not that good, and now I've been listening on repeat. I don't know why, but I love that album. And for hip hop, last thing for hip hop, there's that Mexican OT and Sauce Walker, chicken and sauce. I like that. You know how much I like Sauce Walker, and I actually liked it. I actually really liked it.
Derek?
Not much from a musical perspective, really. Been mostly doing audiobooks lately. But I did listen to the new Machine Head, which is fantastic.
They were here not too long ago.
Definitely, yeah. Definitely not hip hop. So all hip hop heads, don't go listen to Machine Head if you think it's an underground artist. It's not. But yeah, fantastic album, really, really good. Yeah, and the 2 albums that we reviewed that we're going to talk about today. Other than that, it's been pretty low key actually lately from a musical release perspective, from in my front anyway. But what about you, Steve?
To be honest, I haven't been really listening to a lot of hip hop. I've been really listening to like a lot of like metalcore. Killswitch Engage is something that I've been listening to. It's kind of like the whole thing at WrestleMania with CM Punk, and
that's why
it just really got me back into Killswitch, because his theme song used to be Killswitch Engage This Fire, and they did like a homage video for him on Mania, and that song was playing in the background, so it just made me want to go back and listen to some Killswitch Engage. What else have I been listening to? Actually, Fugazi.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, I've been listening to a lot of Fugazi, not some, a lot of Fugazi actually. And whatever people like give me recommendations on, I've been going to. For hip hop though, like the Mickey Diamond Cutter that we're gonna review, the Ferris Blusa Gawd Gawd that we're gonna review. Eddie Kane came out with a project, Play for Keeps. And that's really it. I'm kind of like stuck, man. It's like I don't know. Lately, I've been just really like I like I'll put on an album and then like I'll get a like something that pops into my brain and it makes me go into a totally different direction, which is fine. I like doing that sometimes because then when you go back to what you're really into, it kind of feels like it feels fresher. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like having conversations with people and what they're listening to kind of really puts me in different moods as well. And it's just fun. I'm just really having fun with music. Oldies is always something that I go back to listening to. So, yeah, what do you want to say?
We're kind of lucky lately. Also, I think there's a lot of bands that, especially in the music that like us three grew up in, like we're in our mid 30s. A lot of these artists that had very impactful albums in the early to mid 2000s are actually, a lot of them are celebrating the 25th anniversary edition of albums. Disturbed celebrated not too long ago their 25th. Bullet for My Valentine's celebrating the 20th anniversary of The Poison. Like all these artists that we discovered when we were 12, 13, 14 years old, they're all celebrating their 20th. So hell of a way to make us feel older, but
Fuck.
they're just crazy. Reissuing albums and stuff. So I think for us, we're getting into our generation of oldies. Before we were in our parents' generation of oldies. Now we're getting into our generation of oldies. Like Slipknot's going to celebrate some anniversaries on All Hope Is Gone. All Korn, System of a Down. Yeah. All these artists that we grew up listening to. Listen, for those of you who are relatively the same age as us, the Heavy Montreal, the Vans Warped Tour, all those artists that were popping around these times, Alexis on Fire, Treyu, all these bands are about to start celebrating, and those are bands that when we were in high school, that's
Atreyu.
Yeah, that's all we listened to. Like that was the kind of stuff we listened to. Stephen rediscovering Killswitch Engage. That's a band that was popping off in those years too. So it's weird and it makes me feel awkwardly nostalgic, and I'm all here for it. But yeah, it means that sometimes the newer albums sadly get overshadowed by that nostalgic feeding. I'm going to see Bullet for My Valentine on Saturday, so that's going to be a hell of a show.
Hey, the Spice icon, okay, The Heels of a Modern Man, is 2007. Yeah. 2007. I listened to because I'm looking right now at the last listen album that because I went back. Me too. I went back to like Triple X, of course, of Danny Brown. Yesterday, I started the album and I finished it, the whole thing. That's one of my favorite albums all time, Danny Brown, Triple X. And same for the Spice. Like you put the two first songs and then you finish 25 minutes in, you finish the album. You're like, wow. When this came out, 2007. Wow, that's great.
I was there for the album release.
No way.
Yeah, I was there for the album release. I was actually the band, The Rising Tide, that I was quote unquote managing, friends of mine from RDP. They actually have opened up for Despised Icon. So we were kind of like not close, but like we knew the guys from Despised Icon, really great guys. Really great band too. So like, yeah, we were there for the album release back in 2007. Holy fuck. I think I'm still wearing the same skinny jeans as I was back in 2007.
Those are not in anymore. Huh?
Yeah. Don't time travel back to those days, please.
Before we get into the reviews, new albums that are coming out, Danielson and Future Wave, Baggage Claim, which is 19 unreleased tracks that they put together between Pressure Cooker, the sessions of Pressure Cooker, and I think Bushman Bodega, and between that time frame, something that is very cool about that is we always talk about growing up, the nostalgia and all that shit. We just spoke about it, but I never get B-sides or unreleased tracks from hip hop artists. And when bands used to put that out, just look at Oasis with the Master Plan. Like those were all B-sides. Those were all deep cuts that never made the album. And a lot of bands really put out good music with B-sides. And look, so many bands do B-side shows or add their B-side songs to their playlist or unreleased songs to their playlist. And having like Danielson and Future Wave being able to do that, to me, is super interesting and super exciting because I love getting new music from a time period of when they were recording music. I just find it very like uplifting, very like, oh wow, this wasn't released. Why wasn't it released? It sounds so good. Or hey, here's a 2-minute track. We didn't put it out. It's very raw. It sounds very dirty, but it sounds amazing. It's super exciting, and I'm so happy that a hip hop artist is doing that, especially being a big fan of Danielson and Future Wave. Lloyd Banks, AOD3. I haven't listened to it. It's 18 songs, an hour and 5 minutes. I'll
It's
be
a
honest.
spicy amount of time for an album.
I'll be honest. The featurings caught my eye. Ghostface Killer, Ransom, Styles P. But I'll be really honest. I really don't want to listen to it. I am not into it. Nicholas Craven produced on there. He produced the song with Ghostface Killer. Look, I might skim through it one time. If I'm enjoying it, I'll give it a full listen. But it's an hour and 5 minutes and 18 songs, man. I can't do it. I really, really can't do it. Lloyd Banks has been giving us a lot of work, a lot of albums. I appreciate it greatly, but I just find he's oversaturating us with music, and it could become really stale. And I'm really scared to press play. You're shaking. You shake your head, Malenko. You feel the same?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it's too. Yeah, whatever.
No, you want to say it's too long? Just say it's too long,
Mate, dude. Especially with the last album that we reviewed here, it was a short going through that. So yeah. I mean, if he can bring a little bit of samples, a little bit of features here and there, it's gonna help. But
we'll see.
We'll see.
And Action Figure and Wolverine are going to be putting out a record May 8th. And I'm super excited for it. Doom was right, with an album cover of Action Figure's face, and the other half is MF Doom. Super exciting, something like this to come out. That's something I'm going to send both of you that I want to review and talk about on the episode. It's something that really catches my eye, and I can't wait to listen to what this project is. Action Figure has been on a crazy run this year. He's put out Dark Side of the Ring 1 and Dark Side of the Ring 2, and he also put out an EP. So like he's been really doing great this year. So this is why I'm excited for this full-length record. So that's coming out on May 8th. We get into these reviews?
Yep, let's do it.
Oh.
First review of the evening, the new Ferris Blusa, Gawd Gawd. First name God, last name God. Man. Ferris is sharp, cold as ever, straightforward, smooth yet aggressive, but lays it all on the table. Poetic with the storytelling and very informative. I didn't expect this. Lyrically, I expected it, but the way he orchestrated this record was really well done.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really well done. The beats are simple. They're not loud. They're not overpowering.
Heavy.
But it's done on purpose. to really give him that soundscape where he's able to really put himself forward and really give us that emotion. You know, like the voice samples in here make sense, but again, they're not overpowering. I feel like the record was really made for him to show his true rhyme patterns and his true rhyme skills. And to me, I really get a modern day Scarface. And Derek, I don't know if you're familiar with Scarface the artist, but he's a Southern artist who was very emotional, very, you know, straight to the point, straightforward, but really had a message in his music. And Ferris Blusa does the same effect to me. The same effect. Malenko, you agree?
Yep.
Something that stands out to me on this record before we get into a couple of the tracks is that Ferris Blusa is talking to us like he's at a church. If you know what I mean, he's
preaching.
Yeah, but he's not preaching too much where it could get annoying or becomes too aggressive for the listener. Like, he's really making us informative on the subject matters throughout this album.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it's really well put together. Songs to me that stand out, and I'll get to you guys in a minute, is Of a Dollar. Is an emotional yet straightforward discussion with the audience. It's almost like speaking to you face to face. The beat on there too. It's maybe one of the most steering into the aggression side style beat with the drum, but he's right. He's able to give us a point on there, right? And I'm Monica. I know you, and Derek, I know you want to talk about this song, so please, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so just my thoughts on the album before I get into the song. Like Steven said, yeah, I agree with everything. It's he's preachy, but without being like preachy about it. I think in a lot of the songs there's a lot of wisdom in his penmanship in a lot of these songs, being very wise in terms of the street talk, but also providing knowledge and providing wisdom to whoever's listening. The background of this whole album with that sort of 30s sales pitch to the Black community and all that kind of jazz provided a really interesting sonic landscape, because a lot of the production that was done on this, like Steven said, the production wasn't too loud, but there was that sort of 30s 40s static to every single beat and to every single song, which tend to mute the production a little bit, which was really interesting because it really, like Steven said, it really gave him the canvas to be able to spit and to provide the wisdom. But at the same time, the production did a really good job while maintaining that static to have some of these songs that had really, really hard beats, like impactful beats, I should say. Not hard in terms of like gangsta, but in terms of like just impactful, like you feel them in your chest. Of a Dollar is one of those. It's one of the more aggressive, quote unquote, loud beats, but it's also probably the track where he raps the least. He's just talking to you. He's very soft. He's very muted. He's just dropping wisdom on it. You know, like, do you know the value of a dollar? No, you're just looking for the next follow, like the next social. So he's providing that knowledge in there. And it's one of my favorite songs. And I'm even going to go as far as to say from a production perspective, from a beat perspective, that's one of the best beats I've heard all year. I absolutely love that beat. It's perfect. It's really, really good. The sampling on it was great. And I think for me, another song that really stood out for me was Murder Is Still the Case. Really love that track. Once again, the beat is really, really good. Both artists, Ferris Blusa did his job. Substance 810 did his due diligence on there. I love the fact that this whole album had one feature. Really, really like that. It made me focus more on that one feature and really like what he could bring to the table. But it was a very interesting album. I wasn't expecting the sort of sales pitch, sales technique to the Black community back in the day. I really genuinely wasn't expecting that in this album. Like every song sort of starts with a little bit of that, like a little sample of that. Thought that was really interesting.
Well,
I have yet to sort of find the connection between what he's trying to accomplish by giving us like those samples in the beginning of every song. And I tried to really go into the lyrics in terms of what he's trying to do. Like, is this a sales pitch? Is he trying to sell this product to the Black community because it's quality and because it's good? There's a lot of like these little, there's a reason for it. I'd be really curious, like to pick his brain on it as to what was the intention, what's the message he's trying to send behind this. Because I know that there's something I'm missing. And I guess the more I'm going to sit with the album, the more I'm going to dig into the lyrics, the more I'll be able to maybe find some connection there. But I genuinely like albums like this, albums that make me think, that make me reflect, but also like I'm able to rock on a lot of those beats. Yeah, this was a solid project. This was a really, really good project. Very different from his previous project in terms of just the sound and the vibe I got from it. But yeah, still very good follow-up.
To add with the skits and the messaging, that's something about Ferris Blusa that to me on almost all his albums is something that it takes me a while to catch on and try and find the bits and pieces that he's trying to tell us, but it's kind of very coded regarding the sales pitch to the Black community. You could tell in some of the lyrics within the songs, like of $1, it's like, don't spend your money on what people are trying to sell you. Don't go after big brands. Like a dollar is worth so much. Don't invest it in something that's not worth it. I think that's kind of the base layer of the messaging that he's trying to give us on here. And you said it best. We want to pick his brain. We want to get more information. We want to feed off of what he's trying to say to us. And I'll be honest, if I ever have a conversation with him face to face or on this pod, I would want to know more on the messaging throughout here. Seneca Village, man.
The beat switch was hard.
Piano. He's incredible on a piano. The very background piano and just him speaking to us. Again, it's like spoken word what he's doing. Malenko, thoughts?
It feels like going to war with this album. I love it. I love the cover art. And if you feel muddy, you feel like you're in a trench when you listen to this. It makes me think of anchovies a lot. Makes me think, and it's a really good thing. And it's funny because I have a total different interpretation than you guys. I think the selling aspect, the way I saw it, it's more of a don't buy into that influence type. Don't try to listen to the seller giving you that influence. That was my perspective of the album. But
okay,
like the seller is trying to get you something you shouldn't get.
Selling you a dream that's not really a dream style.
Type of. I saw it on the other. Yeah, I saw it on that scheme. Like, kind of like maybe like the devil trying to sell you these things. Yeah. Or this idea. I don't know. But me too. I think with time is gonna come up to me. Dude, Champagne Sermon, dude. Champagne Sermon. I love those keys, man. And I love Ferris' flow of how he's super slow with his flow, right? But I like how he jumps in, jumps back. You know, he takes long pauses, come back in. Like, I love that. I love those flow that he does. And he's clear on every word that you hear. Every bar is super clear. And I love how he uses those spaces in between beats. There's a lot of beats on here that they have that big pause, and he comes out and he drops something on you. So, Champagne Sermon, for sure, is one of my favorite songs. Off a Dollar, I agree with Derek. That beat is fucking ridiculous. Probably one of the best beats, honestly. And I think in the middle of the placement is still like a good placement, because it takes you out a bit of that heaviness, gives you something smoother, and then you go back. And what else? What is the other? Yeah, no.
Salutations.
William fucking Regal, dog. That's a slow motherfucking murderous song.
One
bro.
hand behind the back. I'm William Regal.
Dude, that's that bass line is murderous. I love it. It's a nice album, man. Really nice album. Ferris, I told, as soon as we started reviewing Ferris, I told, every time he's dropping something, I'm listening.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. And Gawd Gawd dropped, listen, and I'm gonna continue with the same mentality. The guy he's really good. He's really good. I really enjoy his music. Really enjoys music.
Yeah, and when you like Salutations, probably the most soulful beat on here. That's where he shines the best. That's where you're able to kind of understand him the most, is on those beats. And I'm so happy that he never uses overpowering music, because not that it won't fit, is that I want to hear his voice. I want to be able to understand what he's trying to portray to us. You know, I like that. And you know what? One day he can give us an album where the beats are heavy, and it's going to be something totally different for us to be able to dig and try and, decode as we're trying to say here. But man, when he's on those soulful beats, it's just so interesting. It gets you in. You know what I mean?
He's also really good at that. Like, he's dropping a lot of wisdom, but his tone of voice emphasizes the exact message he's trying to say. And I keep going back to Of a Dollar, because Of a Dollar is the perfect example for that. Like, every time it happens during the chorus, he says Of a Dollar, sort of like the chorus of the song. His intonation to Of a Dollar every time is different. Like, he's putting a lot of emphasis on, like, do you understand the value of a dollar? Like, he's emphasizing it. He emphasizes it a lot on the first one. Like, do you, like, it's sort of kind of like an attitude, like, what are you playing about? Like, do you understand the value of it all? And then the other ones is, he becomes a little bit more complacent with it, in terms of, like, he knows he's repeating himself, and he's like kind of tired of repeating himself. Hey, I told you once, do you understand the value? And then the second is like, do you understand the value? Like, his inflections and the way he uses his tone and his voice inflections to communicate his message is super interesting, and it's very catchy. Like, he makes you focus on certain words and certain parts of his bars more than others, just by changing his tone and his pitch a little bit. I think that was really cleverly well done on his part. Like, it's very intentional in the way he delivers it.
Yeah, his delivery is something out of this world, and how he's able to do it.
I wish Ferris would do a song with Absol. That would be, for me, top.
Imagine Ferris on those Absol type of beats.
But both together, they can be they could be killers, bro.
I would put them in the same category as trying to decode their music and trying to really grasp and understand what they're trying to portray to us. For sure, 110%. And
I think he's. I like to compare his flow to a bit like what Absol does too. I feel there's a lot of same elements on there, like the way he slow it down. Of course, Ferris is like really more like he paces word way slower than Absol, but they both can go in and out of pockets, and subject matter would be insane with the two of them. I would love to hear that.
Yeah. Speaking of calculating on songs and stuff like that, Murder's Still the Case Was that a Godzilla sample? Like
I don't know.
what Pharaoh Monch used? Dun 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 dun. It sounds exactly like that on
Dude,
Murder
I don't
With a
know.
Kiss.
I don't know, but first time I listened to that song, just the beat, I was like, this is some WWE walkout theme song right there. Like it's impactful, it's loud, it's aggressive, it's deep, it's ominous. It's like if you guys watch wrestling, there's a guy in NXT called Oba Femi, and he has like that sort of like that attitude of like I'm better, but like he doesn't necessarily use like a song, just use like music, like instruments.
Hmm.
And this just it brought me right there. Like it's loud, it's impactful. It's like the big guys are in town. We're here now, you know. Like
Yeah.
it's a dark, heavy beat, and every time I listen to it, I feel the same way. It's just so good. It's so good.
Let's give it a rating, Derek.
Yeah, I think for me, this is going to be 8.5 on 10. I thoroughly enjoyed this. There's not a song on here I would skip or I would swap out. I really love the little skits. I think they added a lot of value. I really paid attention to those little skits in there a lot. Um, and yeah, just the way the album was sequenced, I think it was perfect. There's a lot of heaviness, and then it's sort of like the middle part's a little bit more quiet with of Adal and Seneca Village, and then it picks back up. I like the beat swap. I like the fact that he changes flows also towards the
Hmm.
later part of this album. I think that's really good. He gets into like his, I think it's on Champagne Sermon. He gets into his little
Oh, Champagne
quick,
Sermon is my
gets
favorite.
into his like his quick rap, and
Yeah.
I think that's really really good as well because that's something I wasn't expecting to hear from him on this album, and he does it really really well. And I think it shows a lot of prowess for me whenever a guy to rap fast like that. For me, a lot of times when they start rapping really fast, it tends to creep on the mumble side,
Hmm.
and he's still very clear with his diction. You could hear everything he's saying. He's not sacrificing what he's trying to say or the way he's trying to say just for the sake of speed. So for that, I that's something I genuinely appreciate. So yeah, for me, 8.5.
Malenko.
For me, it's a 8. For me, it's a 8. It's just a question of what I've been feeling lately. I think it's a really good album. I enjoy it, but it's heavy. It's a really heavy, condensed album. So it's something that I'm gonna keep on listening for the rest of the year. That's for sure.
Well, for him as an artist, and he put out, and that's when I saw God and Gawd Gawd, and he also mentions that he doesn't go to church, but he calls himself God. Um, he's just a super 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 interesting artist for me. I like to the point where it's like I really go back to tracks and not rewind, but I'll go back to a track, re-listen to it, trying to catch things here and there and trying to see what that message is. Uh, this for sure is more of a morning album for me because I really like to think in the morning on my way to work.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think the album is really broken up super well. I find that there's two parts on here. There's that intro style of him, and then the second half of the album really changes, right?
Mm-hmm.
I find it's almost like morning to like mid-afternoon to night style. The beats get a bit heavier. You hear a lot more instrumentations on the second part of the album. He shines a lot more on the second part of the album. But it's very informative. It's something I want to dig into more. The titles of the song, like Seneca Village, is actually Central Park. It's where the black community moved in the 1800s when they wanted to get away from racism
Mm-hmm.
and the downtown and the town. So, like, just understanding a lot more about it. Murder Still the Case. There's a lot more on that song than we really think. It's not just a song with a featuring and a heavier beat. They're telling us a lot more interesting facts
Mm-hmm.
and storytelling, and stuff that's you need to dig more into the subject matter for you really to grasp on all this information. But it's super well put together. I'm gonna go with a solid 8/10. I was gonna give it a 7.5 the first few times I listened to, but really digging into it makes me give it an 8. He's a really, really good artist, like really good artist. I want to learn a lot more from him.
Oh,
And
he's top level, man.
yeah, and I really think he is probably the only one who's gonna be able to really explain to us his mindset going into all his records. Because if you listen to all his records and if you're a fan of him and you go back to his earlier stuff, it's so interesting. Like just him. And one day I just want to have a full-blown conversation with him about everything. Let's get into the main event. When Mickey Diamond puts out an album, we get together like a cult to review.
Yeah.
Really,
Low-key,
right?
yeah.
We haven't skipped one. Mickey Diamond, completely produced by Tremendiss, the Diamond Cutter album. If you don't know who Tremendiss is, let me just tell you real quick. He is the soundscape. He is the producer to Feed the Family. He is the man behind that epic street tale storytelling sound for Feed the Family. And when I saw that Mickey Diamond was going to be putting out an album, you could call it an EP because it's only 8 songs, I was super invested right off the bat. First and foremost, this album is only available on YouTube. Pack of the plug. Thank you. Bars Over BS and Copenhagen Crates put out the vinyl and the CD with the tape. If you didn't buy it, you're fucked. You got to listen to it on YouTube. And you really can't do anything if you listen to it on your phone. You can't text message. You can't fucking go on Instagram. You basically just have to have the album there. If there's a big turnoff for me, is not having it on streaming, not having it on Bandcamp where I could buy it. I really don't get that point. I understand, but for like people like Derek and Malenko, you know what, it is what it is, but you just got to invest more in just going on YouTube.
It's tough. It's tough, like you want to put like some of these albums in the car, whatever the case may be, then it's YouTube and YouTube ads, and the sound on YouTube is not exactly the greatest. No. And it's
there's ad in the middle of the fucking album.
It's listen, I understand why it's done. I understand why artists put on YouTube. I genuinely do. But for someone like me, that most of my free time, I'll call it free time.
Busy guy.
Well, it's not that I'm a busy guy. It's just like I wake up in the morning, like my routine. I wake up in the morning, I train, get ready for work, and then I'm off to work. Most of my free time happens in the car. It happens in the car. That's when I have like the most time to myself to listen to these albums and all that kind of stuff. And then whenever I get home, by the time I'm home, make supper, take a shower, go to bed, because I'm up at 5 in the next morning. I don't have a lot of time to give to albums at home unless like I have a day off or whatever the case may be. So a lot of my listens happen in a car. They happen in the car. I want to put it on a background. It's a lot easier if it's just on one platform. It's just a lot easier. I'm not for monopolizing just one platform, whether it's Apple Music or Spotify, whatever the case may be. I don't care. I genuinely don't care. But it's a lot easier to have it on those streaming platforms than to have it on YouTube, unless you have YouTube Music, which I don't know. I don't really know anyone that has YouTube Music, but yeah, it just made the listening experience more frustrating because you had to dig to go get it. But at the same time, I get it. Can't fault them for that as well. Just from a convenience perspective, it's
yeah. I mean, it's 8 songs,
Yeah, it's quick. It's quick.
It's not a full album. Right. It's like a EP.
It's not, yeah, it's not an hour. It's not Lloyd Banks,
Yeah, exactly.
Look, I think it's an album because anytime you go over 20 minutes, for me, it's an album. 8 songs, I think, is that cutoff of considering it an album, to be honest. Uh, but hey, love the intro. Soulful entry with Tony Schiavone just screaming "Diamond Cutter."
Yeah.
It really set the mood. Um,
I love that guitar. I wish I could have used it for a beat, but I love that guitar sample.
yeah,
That
and
riff is nice.
look, if it starts off like this, and when you get Soulful and you get Mickey Diamond together, that's where I find he is at his best. Is when you have soul in the music with a bunch of samples. Second song, Funny Rings, DDP starting off the track, talking about work ethic and having the odds stacked against him. That plays with Mickey Diamond and the work ethic that he had for so many years of just putting out amazing quality music. Like
Yep.
he went on a run, and I called him the Roman Reigns of hip hop. He went on a 3-year run of literally giving us the best sounding projects.
Yeah,
And
championship caliber projects. Yeah.
like we could sit here and really go back and forth from Bangkok Dangerous 1 to Diamond Cutter, and we don't have anything negative to say. Like, yeah, we could start picking at things, and we have before, but if you really look at the bodies of work that he's given us, it's championship material.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I love that he used that sample of DDP. And I don't remember who DDP was talking to at that point in wrestling, but like it was great. God Bless is an original Mickey Diamond style of production, style of flow that he uses. But to me, the album really started to get interesting is on Half of What You See. Okay, and I'll explain the reason why, featuring Shahiq Hanif, okay, from Feed the Family,
Yeah.
who I think shined so well on this song. And I'm so happy that he ended off the song because he really, really put in that effort and really made himself that elite MC on this song. But to get back to this, Mickey Diamond over a heavy 808 is my favorite. With those big drums is my favorite. Mickey Diamond on a very aggressive, very flashy, very in your face beat is where you want to hear him the most, because his voice really stands out more. His voice kind of like picks up and becomes a bit more aggressive to really coincide with the beat.
Mm-hmm.
And this is my favorite style of Mickey Diamond. And then we go into Shrimp Noodles, which is again classic Mickey Diamond with the punchlines and the glamorous production.
Yeah, that's my thing with me. Like, that's my favorite song. Shrimp Noodles is my favorite song. Those little elevator beats in the back. I love those. I always have a soft spot for those beats. I always love those elevator beats, and he made it glamorous, man. Made it glamorous. That's why I liked it so much. Like, yeah, I always had something for those beats, and Shrimp Noodle is for me is the highlight of the album.
Those two back-to-back songs, and then we get into, and then we get into Butter Soft with Estee Nack, Diamonds and Pearls, which again soulful, right?
Yeah.
And then we end off the album with Bang, which kind of is, I find, the three best songs on here being Half of What You See, Shrimp Noodles, and Bang.
Right? I love Bang. Yeah.
But again, it's an appetizer. Going forward, I want to hear Mickey Diamond on less drumless beats and way more impactful styled beats. And I've said this numerous times on here. Imagine Mickey Diamond over just Blaze production.
Mm-hmm. That would be sick.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's where I find that he's the best. It's where I find he's the best. And we haven't heard from him in a while. And I think going forward, there's projects that are going to come out. He's going to really have to showcase himself at that level with that style of production.
Yeah.
Like if you go back and listen to Bulletproof Bathrobes produced by Machacha, or Bangkok Dangerous 4, or fucking Smoke Face.
Mm-hmm.
Like those are some of his best albums because the production was a lot heavier. There was a lot more boom bap, 808s, sampling, scratches. I love that about Mickey Diamond. I love that about him. Malenko, what else you got?
I mean, I enjoyed this album. I enjoyed it. This album, this EP. To me, it makes me think a bit of Flair for Gold. That's exactly what I want Mickey Diamond to do for me, honestly.
Soulful beats.
Yeah, that's I love his voice on that, and like his rhymes are still on point. So many quotables, and I don't know. I think he just brings quality. There's no problem with the mix on this one. I was happy. There was no fucking. There was no.
Is Malenko gonna bring it up? Is Malenko gonna bring up the mixing on this one?
It wasn't that bad. I didn't notice no Samsung speaker on this one, so that's really
Tremendiss.
Good.
If there's something great about Tremendiss is his ear for sound, and you could tell that on the Feed the Family records.
I went back to Gucci Gambino's, and I can't. I'm sorry. It's such a good album, but the voices, dude, the mixes. What happened, dude? So I'm happy. I'm happy this is not a problem here. I think we get a bit of like the beats that he made, the Tremendiss done for Mickey. He didn't make him go after something he never rapped before. It was pretty soothing. So yeah, enjoyed it. To me, it's like the last West Side Gun release for me. It's not bad. It's not the greatest. It's exactly what I wanted. If I go to my favorite restaurant and I take my favorite dish, I'm gonna be satisfied every time, and it's exactly what happened here. I think quality control was perfect on this, so no problem.
It was a curious project, to be honest. It made me, that project being so short and so like just reminding me who Mickey Diamond was.
Yeah,
it just made me want to listen to older Mickey Diamond, like his other project. Like I don't know if maybe that's just me, but I listened to this project and immediately the first thing that came into my mind and that I wanted to play was "And His Name Was Death."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I genuinely love that project from Mickey Diamond. Like it's, for me, it was just like a tease of like, hey, you guys, like I'm not gone. Remember, like, yeah, Mickey Diamond. I'm just like, you know what? Let me revisit his stuff. And the first thing that I popped into in the car was "And His Name Was Death," and I was like, this did exist. If that was the intention, then that's perfectly fine because I really don't mind listening to Mickey Diamond anyway. So for me, that project was just like, hey, let's listen to Mickey Diamond. Like, oh, I haven't been listening to him. Let's listen to him. You know?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. For me, you see, it made me think of Flair for Gold. So I was like, oh, I love Flair for Gold. I think it's still one of my favorite project of his. So this made me think of that. Exactly.
It took me time to get into this project. Could it be it came out at WrestleMania weekend where I was into different style of music, so really it took a while for me to get into it, maybe because it wasn't my mood. I'm not sure, but it took. Look, great albums, great EPs take time for you to digest, and as you continue listening to them, you kind of start loving them more, and that's what's starting to happen with this record. But like when I first listened to it and I got to like the beginning of the album, I'm like, okay, I'm comfortable with it. Then I listened to the shrimp the shrimp noodles and half of what you see, and I was like, fuck, like man, I want a whole project of this. Like it got me excited for what's to come, and it being super short, again, yeah, I like 23-minute albums, 26-minute albums, but I'm wanting more. Mickey Diamond is that artist that I want more. Like I want 12 tracks, 15 tracks. Like fuck, give me 18 tracks an hour and 5 minutes, like Lloyd Banks would do, and I'm all for it. He gave us that with his projects last year, and I was so invested in it. I feel like with this, like you're invested halfway, and then you're like, ah, fuck, it's done.
It's done. Yeah, maybe a missed opportunity too with Mickey Diamond being his Diamond Cutter, like album, like Diamond Cutter. He could have used that DDP story just a bit more, maybe. But
maybe he will. Maybe he will.
Maybe he will. Maybe
that's just a prelude, you know.
That's
we never know with Mickey.
We don't know. We don't know.
And like it's crazy how every time I see Diamond Dallas Page, I think of Mickey Diamond right away. It's fucked up to me. It's like he was at the fucking Hall of Fame inducting Lex Luger, and I was looking at him. I'm like, fuck, Mickey Diamond in my head. Like it's so fucked up. So maybe my expectations were higher. But look, Tremendiss with his production did a great job. Like it's like his production stands out on here.
I gotta say, yep.
Like it really does. And as I continue listening to the album, you know, I find a lot more value to it.
I love those beats. God bless. I love those beats. It's something like, it's like something that I always enjoyed, beat like that, soulful beats. So
and I really, really hope they could put out another project together. Maybe next year, the year after, or maybe later this year. I don't care. Just give me more tracks, please. More tracks. Malenko on 10.
It's a 7 out of 10. Nothing bad to say about the album. I just wanted a little bit more. ST Nack did a really good job on the featuring. That was different to hear ST Nack on here. Perfect. I like it. 7 out of 10.
I think they complement each other, because if you put ST Nack on any featuring, he's gonna fucking murder it, and he's gonna fit so well with it. And it's the same thing for Mickey Diamond. You put him on any featuring, and it's just
he goes
right. So they really complemented themselves well. What's your favorite track on here?
Shrimp.
Okay,
that's the best for me. Shrimp noodles is the best for me. God bless, Funny Rings, and Bang.
Derek on 10.
I think I'm gonna go for a 7. It's not his most, by far, it's not his most impactful project in terms of like the lasting impression that it's given on me. To be perfectly honest, I'm probably not. I don't want to say that I'm not going to do it. I don't think I'm going to revisit this album in terms of like, hey, I really want to listen to this album, but I might revisit it if ever I'm in the mood to re-listen to Mickey Diamond, but not necessarily digest an entire 40-minute project. But yeah, listen, it made me re-listen to his old stuff, and just for that in and of itself, they did a good job at it. So
yeah, it's funny. Me too. It made me go back and listen. It's fucking
funny. Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna go with a 7 as well. I also think it's very moody. It's something that, like, when I think of Mickey Diamond, it's not the first thing I'm gonna go play.
No.
When I think of Mickey Diamond, I really want to play an album, I'm fucking definitely going to Smoke Face.
Okay, yeah, I misunderstood. Sorry.
It's
I
okay, but
misunderstood you.
but like it's moody. Like I find that there's a time and place also to listen to this record.
You make a very good point, and I think it can't be understated that though we're listening to hip hop, different voices, different tones, different inflections, different flows hit different.
Productions too.
Productions, right? And for me, I listened to this right after I listened to the Ferris Blusa.
Oh shit.
Like right after. Like I listened to Ferris Blusa, I listened to that like maybe like 3 days in a row. And then I dived right into the Mickey with no buffer in between. So I didn't like cleanse my palate with anything else. I just jumped right into the Mickey. And they're so different in terms of their intonations and their inflections and just the quality of their voice that I think in the future, if I know I'm going to review a Mickey Diamond album with throw anyone in there, I think I'm going to have to listen to Mickey first, because Mickey for me comes across as maybe more aggressive, or at least more intense from a vocal perspective. And if I've had a little bit more of an oversaturation of music, it's hard for me to get into Mickey Diamond as much as if he was the one setting the pace rather than going to him afterwards. For me, I might just listen to my music and feel my music differently. But I'd rather start with something intense, like hard in terms of beat or voice, and then I'd rather smooth it out towards the end than start smooth and build up to it. I need to start here, and then as my moods and my energy goes down, then I'll settle down, rather than start super soft and make my way up. I work the opposite way down. So I think in a lot of times, and I've found this just doing this podcast, a lot of times the second album I listen to is the one that I'm the more critical on, and it tends to be the more aggressive one. So I think if there's anything that this has taught me, is that I'll probably listen to the more aggressive one, or at least I'll probably ask Steven when he sends the albums, hey, Steve, you've listened to them. Like, which one should I listen to first? And which one should I listen to second? Because I always make the fucking mistake of just grabbing the first one, and then I'm like, oh, the second one's not as good, but it's just my mood. It's not there, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's definitely not going to be the Lloyd Banks album, because it'll fucking take you 3 months to finish it.
I'll listen to that Ransom one. Yo, you know how much I love Ransom. I'm gonna listen to Ransom fucking dance circles on that track for sure. That's not gonna be an issue.
For sure.
Boys, we'll be back in a couple of weeks with some more reviews. Anything else you want to say before we get up out of here?
No, nothing.
Oh yeah, I want to add one thing. Well, actually, two things.
Fuck.
Like and subscribe. We've told you at the beginning of the episode, you should do it again, just because I'll assume that you didn't do it. So because I'll assume that you didn't do it, let's do it now. It's going to take 2 seconds. Really helps us out. Listen, I leave a comment on almost every video. Steven likes all the comments. He responds to the comments. If you guys want to have a conversation, let us know what you thought about these albums. We'd love your feedback. How can we make this podcast better? Give us some pointers. Give us some tips. Listen, we're more happy than to listen and exchange with you guys. So go right ahead.
Yep.
And on that note, bang.
Bang.
Peace.